Megamind is one of the most subversive, original, and fun movies of the last decade. It tells the story of the supervillain Megamind and the superhero Metro Man. The two are lifelong arch-nemeses who fight battles of good versus evil, where Metro Man always comes out on top. Until one day, unexpectedly, Megamind finally defeats Metro Man.
You did it, sir!
I did it!
He did it!
I did it! Atrocity is back!
This results in Megamind taking over the city, but quickly realizing that he feels empty with no good to stop him. He goes through an existential crisis and reaches a revelation. He will create a new superhero that he can fight in order to bring balance to the world and encounter his purpose once again. What makes Megamind so special is how it builds an original idea into an impeccably structured plot. So today I want to take a look at how Megamind flips a famous premise, creates a meaningful B-plot, and establishes a strong midpoint, and more importantly, how you can do the same in your own writing. This is why you should study Megamind. In my video, How to Find a Story Idea, I propose a technique that writers can use to come up with fresh ideas for their stories called Flip the Premise. This consists of taking a story that already exists and making the antagonist the protagonist and the protagonist the antagonist. This allows for a change in perspectives that can lead to more interesting stories. The writers of Megamind have said that the inspiration for the movie was their attempt to flip the premise of Superman. They wanted to tell a story that started from the premise, what if Lex Luthor defeated Superman? For this to work, the writers took the antagonist in the world of Superman and made him a protagonist. Lex Luthor, a genius and diabolical inventor supervillain, was made sympathetic. This became Megamind. In addition, the protagonist that was Superman was transformed into an egomaniac goody-two-shoes town savior. This became Metro Man. By flipping the premise, it does not mean that the flipped story must be an accurate retelling of the original with the roles reversed. Metro Man does not remain as the antagonist for long, and Megamind does not remain as supervillain throughout the entire movie. However, the flipping of the premise serves as a strong starting point for the rest of the story. It creates a springboard for the writers to develop new ideas as the plot progresses. And that's exactly what it did to this movie. This flip of the premise allowed Megamind's concept to shine in two ways. First, it allowed the movie's concept to be hooky and immediately engaging. A story that not only follows a supervillain, but a supervillain that starts the story by defeating the good guy and taking over the world. This was never seen before at the time. Secondly, and most importantly, the flip of the Superman premise allowed the writers to explore a philosophical conflict that was fresh to the superhero genre. Older Superman movies dealt with the often simplistic philosophical conflict of good versus evil. By flipping the premise and making a genius supervillain a sympathetic protagonist, the writers had to see the world through his perspective. Instead of the simplistic good and evil conflict, Megamind deals with the philosophical conflict of nature versus nurture. The movie compares the view of behavior being inherent with the view that behavior is learned. Instead of focusing on the good or evil attributes of superheroes and villains, Megamind focused on the origins and malleability of these attributes. This allowed the movie to be unique not only in its concept, but unique in its philosophical conflict. This was only possible due to the flip of the Superman premise. If you are struggling to come up with story ideas for your own writing, try flipping the premise of a story that you like. By making the protagonist the antagonist and vice versa, you can not only find a fresh, hooky concept, but also a story that is philosophically resonant. In my video, Why I Hate B-Plots, I describe the most common pitfalls writers fall into when building a secondary plot in their story. Lots of writers build love stories that are detached from their main philosophical conflict and are there mainly to hit a certain page count. Instead, I proposed a more useful function for B-plots. A B-plot should be a secondary conflict against your protagonist's beliefs that happens outside of the main external conflict. One of the strongest aspects of Megamind's plot is the utilization of its B-plot, Megamind's relationship with Roxanne Ritchie. While the A plot follows Megamind's attempts to create a new superhero that he can fight, the B plot follows his blossoming romance with Roxanne while he's disguised as a librarian. On paper, this had the potential of being a disjointed and ineffective addition of a love interest in a story. However, Megamind has one of the strongest romantic subplots in Mowery. How? There are two reasons. First, Megamind and Roxanne's beliefs are diametrically opposed. Megamind believes in nature. He believes he is naturally a bad guy and that his mischievous behavior is inherent and meant to be.
Was this my destiny? Wait, maybe it was. Being bad is the one thing I'm good at.
Roxanne, on the other hand, believes in nurture. She believes that good or evil is not inherent, but that instead people are made into heroes and villains by society and by their actions.
You don't judge a book by its cover or person from the outside.
Oh, that's a relief to hear.
You judge them based on their actions.
Megamind's relationship with Roxanne is not there to fill up pages. Instead, it serves to challenge Megamind's philosophical beliefs in a secondary conflict outside of the main external conflict. Secondly, and most importantly, Roxanne's challenge of Megamind's beliefs in the B plot actively impacts Megamind's actions in the A plot. When his relationship with Roxanne is blooming in the B plot, Megamind's beliefs move closer to that of nurture and further away from that of nature. This causes him to actively do good deeds to the town and, as a result, compromise his plans of building a new superhero to fight in the A plot.
The bad guy doesn't get the girl.
Maybe I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
When his relationship with Roxanne goes south, Megamind's beliefs recede to that of nature. He goes back to believing that he is naturally evil and unworthy of love despite his actions. He doubles down on his villainy, putting even more effort into his plan of going back to fighting good in the A plot.
I hear there's a new hero who dares challenge my evil. Where is the one they call Titan?
The B plot is actively challenging the protagonist's beliefs and consequently affecting the A plot. When writing a B plot, do not add a romantic interest for no reason. A B plot should be added to continuously challenge your protagonist's beliefs. In addition, the B plot and the A plot should at least to some level be connected through cause and consequence. This way, you can ensure your secondary story is meaningful and connected to your main story. In my video on midpoints, I've said that a good midpoint should be a moment halfway through a story where your protagonist gets the thing they want and pay a heavy price for it. This heavy price derails the story in a completely new direction for the second half. Megamind has a powerful midpoint for two reasons. First, Megamind's midpoint shifts both the A story and the B story. In the A story, Megamind has gotten what he wanted. He has fully trained Hal to become a superhero. But at the midpoint, Megamind pays a heavy price. Hal is rejected by Roxanne, which causes him to not want to be a hero anymore. Instead, he becomes a supervillain, more evil than Megamind has ever seen.
That's why I think we should team up.
Wait, what?
With my power and your big-headedness, we could rule the city.
In the B story, Megamind has also gotten what he wanted. He has built an intimate relationship with Roxanne. For the first time, Megamind is able to find someone who appreciates who he is. But he pays a heavy price. Roxanne finds out about Megamind's disguise. This leads to her rejecting him and breaking his heart.
Do you really think that I would ever be with you?
No.
This effect of characters getting what they want and paying a heavy price for it derails both the A story and the B story into completely new territory, keeping the second act fresh. Now Megamind has to stop Titan from becoming a supervillain in the A plot and regain Roxanne's trust without his disguise in the B plot. The second reason the midpoint works is that it makes Megamind reevaluate his own beliefs. In my video on pinch points, I examine how midpoint should be the moment in the story where the protagonist sees the truth they lack and can no longer ignore it. Because of this, the midpoint should be the point where your protagonist needs to sit down and really evaluate what their beliefs are from now on. Megamind paying a heavy price at the midpoint makes him reevaluate his position in nature versus nurture. This leads to him choosing what he really believes: nature. When building your midpoint, ensure that your character gets what they want and pay a heavy price, but also that this price deeply challenges their beliefs and makes them reevaluate what they believe is true. Megamind is a fun and original movie that is held together by a well-structured plot. And Megamind has many lessons. You can learn how to flip premises of stories that you know in order to create brand new concepts. You can learn to create B-plots that meaningfully challenge your protagonist. And you can learn how to build a strong midpoint that forces your character to reevaluate what they believe in. And if you are currently a writer who is struggling with writer's block and procrastination, and you are struggling to get to the end of that first draft, then I have a video for you to watch that will show you how to finally beat writer's block and procrastination and build a consistent writing process. Click the top link in the description to watch that video. This video was written by Alberto Halfeld, a member of the Practical Screenwriting team.